Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Centered Navigation Talks. These are live talks to get us through when shit goes sideways. Some of you follow me on Instagram at Jeanine Tripodi or on Facebook at Jeanine Tripodi CHT. But for those of you who don't know me, I am Jeanine Tripodi. I'm a Boston-born, Arizona-based speaker, author, and intuitive energetic healer. I'm really passionate about teaching women to ditch external expectations and pressures and to live more fulfilled lives by tapping into their inner wisdom and finding balance and joy, even in the midst of chaos. My book, When Shit Goes Sideways, is my manifesto for soul-centered living, and it shares some of my stories of choosing joy in the midst of chaos. It's available on Amazon, Amazon Kindle, and local bookstores, and soon to be on Audible. We're in the midst of this chaotic time through COVID-19, quarantine, and reintroducing ourselves back into society. In a matter of weeks, I've said this before, our seemingly normal lives were really just upended and changed in ways that most of us never expected. I wanted to help people find some footing during this time, and one of the ways that I hope to do that are through these talks. So we launched these Monday talks, which are now Monday, Tuesday talks, called Soul Centered Navigation Calls. I want to introduce you to Judith Maxey. She is joining me today. Jude is an energetic healer. She's an energy medicine practitioner based in Portland, Oregon. Judith combines her many years of training in Reiki, shamanic energy work, chakra healing, and essential oils to compassionately guide each individual in their own healing. Judith assists her clients in regaining energetic balance, accessing their vitality, and becoming their true and authentic selves. Judith is the owner of Almas Reiki. Excuse me, she is the owner of Almas Energy Medicine, where she offers individual sessions, Reiki classes, a professional Reiki practitioner mentorship program, and she also leads a monthly Reiki meeting for women called Reiki Evenings. So welcome, Judith. I'm so excited. I'm going to call you Jude because I've known you for years.
Oh, great.
Welcome.
Thank you, Jeanine.
Thank you so much for being here. So we met years ago. I'm going to talk about what we're going to talk about, but I love how we met, which was through Reiki.
A beautiful story. And here we are.
I know, right? So it was about 10 years ago, I feel like.
Oh, probably 13 or 14 years ago, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Time does fly. I'm super excited about today. We're going to talk a lot about energetic systems, the chakras, and how to tend to our energetic system during these times of chaos. And you're going to lead us through a beautiful guided meditation, which I'm going to ask you to tell us more about in a minute. But first, I know everyone's dying to know, like, how did we meet through Reiki? So we had already gone through the first. There's several, for those of you who don't know, there's several levels of Reiki training. And I think we had gotten to the master level when we met. Is that right?
Yes.
I say, is that right? Because I can see myself sitting with you in Colleen's class. Yeah.
Seems like so long ago.
I know. And then we got to do so much of that volunteer work at the hospital together. You were so profound in helping me develop, I think, acceptance and having, like, being able to see outside of exactly what's trained. You know what I mean? Like, we all learn Reiki, depending, whatever lineage you're in, you learn and understand Reiki in a way. And then I think as you work with it, it evolves very personally to you. Like, I know that the way that I have evolved and developed in Reiki is different than you and other people. And I just think, I thank you for helping me during that time and recognizing it doesn't need to be in this box. It doesn't, it sounds funny.
The funny thing is that I thank you actually in one of my professional mentorship programs. I actually mention you as being, again, like you said, part of that really transformative work that we did early on, and one through the classes, but really those, I don't know if you've talked about this before with your listeners, but remember when we were working in pairs in hospitals, in Portland Providence Hospital, working with people who were in an acute rehab, on the acute rehab floor. And I love to tell this story about you, Jeanine.
Do tell.
Chakras were not even part of my work. I did very traditional Reiki in all the standard positions, and I really didn't have a consciousness about the chakras. And I remember specifically watching you place energy over each patient's chakras at the end. We only had 20 minutes, so we had to be, we had to be very mindful of our time and use it well. And I remember that I asked you one night, what are you doing? What are you doing when you place your hands like that? And you saw me put, just like, don't you know that? I'm placing Reiki, I'm placing light in their chakras. I thought, oh, wow. And that was the beginning, really. That was the seed. And now every session I do, all my work is around the chakras. So,
Honey, oh.
So it's really great to hear that we made an impact on each other in ways that we didn't even know. So thank you.
It's so true. I know. I love that. That's so neat. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And now really they inform my sessions. And I think that we forget that we're energy beings. And that's really important to bring back into our consciousness, especially during times like this. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I know that, like most of us who see clients face to face, you've had to shift how you're helping your clients.
Right.
I love when we kind of do pre-talks before these calls, and you talked about how there's a lot of focus on the physical body, but let's not forget that this energetic side. Let's talk more about the energy.
Yeah. And, thankfully we have our left brain and are motivated by what's in front of us. I mean, that's how we've survived, but we tend to forget. And so this meditation will be working with the idea of fear, like a larger luminous right now, looming matrix of energy. But in order to work with that energy, in order for us to, like you so beautifully mentioned, find joy and levity and our true selves in this really difficult time, I think it's important to remind ourselves, to envision ourselves, and to work with our energy. We're this amazing energy system. So that's where I start my work, is really placing people in the container of light and seeing themselves as energy beings. We're magnificent. We have our 7 primary chakras. You and I have talked about this. We have our meridian lines, and each organ has a special frequency. So the beautiful thing is that we are creator beings also, and we're not stagnant. We are dynamic energy beings, and that's the beauty of this work. And I love to take people through these meditations, like the one we're going to do today, to show them that they can gain insight into themselves as an energy being, and that they can change. You don't have to be victims. During this time when we are so worried about our health, our physical bodies, yes, absolutely, we should be that. But there's so much more to this situation. And one of those things is requiring us to really get into the depths of our love and our compassion for each other, ourselves, our physical bodies, and the world as we go through this. And we can do that through energy work. So
I love that. So I'm hearing, like, as we're talking, I'm bringing myself back to, like, when I have a new client that comes in, they know typically something about what I do, or they've been referred. But how do you talk with someone who doesn't otherwise really understand the chakra system or energetic work? When I have a client come in, I'll explain. I may have clients come in for some physical ailments, say, and they've been referred to me by another type of practitioner, the bodywork practitioner, because what they're seeing is, while we'll deal with it in the physical, which is very important, we have to deal with it in the physical. But if you don't go for that underlying, that root issue, which is often rooted in energy, right? And the energy and the belief systems that we hold, and the emotions that we hold into our body, and the experiences that we hold in our, and when I say in our body, I mean in our energetic field in our body. If we're not dealing with those and releasing those and clearing that, you can expect to revisit that same issue, whether it's mind, body, emotional, mental, spiritual, all of it, right?
Absolutely.
How do you talk? How do you talk with people about the energetic body? So if somebody's watching this right now and saying, what is this meditation going to do? What does she mean by the energetic system? How would you explain that?
Right. Well, great starting point, because most of us have heard about the chakras. I usually start there, and I'll bring in a visual. Okay, here we are, and you probably know about these 7 main chakra systems, or 7 main chakras in your body. And we'll talk a little bit. I'll tell them where they are, and I'll say what they govern, what each chakra governs in your life, your belief systems about what part of your life. But then I also like to say that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's what we usually work with because they're large, and for me, they're very communicative. But your whole body is a system. So I'll show the meridian lines. I'll show, like, look, there's your liver, and it also is an energy system. It has its own frequency. I like to start by showing actually a visual of that. So I usually have a diagram that shows us in our physical body, our denser energies with our skin, hair, organs, and then move towards what most people know, and that's the body with 7 main chakras. And then I move to something which is a little further out there that shows us with those, all the lines of energy, the sub-chakras, our auric fields, and how actually our field of energy is so expansive out into the universe. And that's why we can do remote sessions, because we can meet on that quantum level.
Yes.
So I like to give people the idea that there's so much more than what they're contained in and really what they're thinking about often all day long. Right. They're this expansive energy system, and that we can work with that. And it is dynamic. And you would be surprised at how freeing that can be just for people. So yeah, I also like to talk about the specific chakras, not as you and I talked a little bit about this. I think we get stuck in the visuals that we've seen about the chakras, like, oh yeah, the chakras, those colorful balls, one-dimensional places in our body, but there's so much more than that. Right. For me, they're galaxies of energy that you can enter into. I don't know how you describe it with your clients, but one of the things I like to talk about is every thought, every experience, every emotion, those all, it's all energy. Yeah. So let's say you have an experience as a child, that the frequency of that energy goes into your chakra. Now, if it's a bad experience, you might process that. You may have an energy body or have another experience that changes that. But many of us keep those energies, frequencies, experiences, memories lodged in our bodies. And that goes to exactly what you were saying further. Yes. Yeah. I have found that a nice way to explain that connection is through the heart chakra, because most of us have heard about holding grief in your heart or broken heart syndrome, and understanding that the heart chakra doesn't just govern the organs, the rest, the respiratory system and circulatory system, but also is where we hold unexpressed grief. I do see a lot of clients who are working through unexpressed grief. I think I attract that through my own experiences with the loss of my son. And life changes in that way. God, your wisdom. Yeah, no, and that's good. And I love helping people through that. It's a difficult time to move through that sort of grief. I'm always, not to digress, but I'm always fascinated how that is so closely linked to, of course, all of the chakras are linked, but to the solar plexus, and how they really, I feel like they do, I'm getting into the visual parts of a session now, how the feeling of the sensation of the two chakras balancing each other. But, my point, I digress, is explaining how we hold grief in our hearts, and not the physical organ, but the chakra and how that connects. And now, it's just last year that I can't remember the publication, but it was a scientific publication, I'll have to post it, that they actually confirmed broken heart syndrome. Well, most of us know that broken heart syndrome does exist and has existed, but now they've measured the functionality of the heart before and after grief, like real deep loss and grief. And that, I think, helps a lot of people who are very comfortable in the space of, I want the ABCs of the facts, and I want to see, these control groups and all that. So it's just, it's an interesting way to tie it in to a more, mainstream explanation of chakras. So a lot of times I will go through that, but I love when you can get to the point of people being in a session and really feeling it, really understanding, oh, wow. It's almost like the glasses came off and there's stuff in the air. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like, so you can see a grid in the air, or however it feels for them. I just think that's fascinating. Right. And it is different for everyone. Yeah. And I totally agree with you about, having those other resources for people. Heart Math is a great one. I love Heart Math, yes. I'm a big promoter of that organization. I also really like what you said about, they're all connected and how you would think grief is held in your heart, but it can be held other places.
Mm.
And when you start moving energy in one chakra, we were talking about this, it will activate movement in others. So I can be working over someone's heart, but they actually feel it someplace else in the body.
Oh, yeah.
I had a really humbling experience early on, and that was working with a woman who had lost a child.
Mm.
And she was a friend. And I was so certain that I knew where her grief was, right? This is what I mean about being humbling. I was certain it was in her heart or in her stomach. And I went through the whole session. This was really early on. And so I started questioning, like, we're not having any movement. I know she has this grief to release. She wants to release.
Mm-hmm.
Her intention was to release it, and nothing. I went to all the places that I thought were her entry points. And then I got to her knees, and she exploded with grief, because that's where she was holding it. Her grief was in the chakras around her knees. And maybe that was about support in her grieving. You know, I don't know. Maybe she couldn't even articulate it, but that was the point when I could start putting energy into that area of her body that allowed her to release and move and process and help her along her healing path. So we really never know.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that amazing?
So beautiful.
It is. I love your knee. And I don't know if we've talked about this before, but that's come up for a client of mine too, where I was drawn to the knees, and it was history. All I kept hearing was, it's historic. It's the history. It's the weight of their lives. Yes. I don't know if it for this particular person, I don't know. Like just as you said, you try not to go into any session with any expectations, because really we're just the catalyst, right, of it all. We're just the tuning fork, as I explained. I do love when I have clients come in for A, and I'm like, awesome, like, let's see what comes up. And they're like, well, but I came for A. I'm like, awesome, let's see what comes up. And it's always like this bubbling that bubbles that up, but then all these other things bubble up, and it's really fascinating. I think when people are really open to experiencing something that, you know, is new, and just the experience of it. Yes. It shifts a lot for people.
Yeah. And part of the beauty of this work is giving people the opportunity to just be still.
Yeah.
And connect in with everything else.
Yes.
All of them, all of their pieces, and get back to who they truly are. And especially in times like this, bringing it back to COVID, our situation now, is very easy to be distracted and worried and doing all the multiple things and working from home and, you know, all the things that we're thinking about right now.
Right. And the fact that all of the information that we're getting from outside is fear-based.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you decipher that, and how do you navigate through fear, which I think is a perfect little segue to what you're going to help us with today.
Every day, really. Yeah. Oh, I know. You want to talk about the meditation?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, you know, this meditation was created for the group that I lead, the monthly group with about 12 women. And right at the beginning of COVID, it was just so clear that we were all dealing with our own personal fears, and that building, I could feel it. There was this larger energetic of fear. And I want to talk just a moment before we start the meditation about that idea of larger matrices of energy, because they do exist. Mm-hmm. Think back, you know, the Inquisition, for those of us that are in the healing arts, women, the Inquisition, that still exists, that larger fear-based work. And I think each of it has, you know, we have to be careful with our relationship and how much we cord to that or have that energy in our own sphere. So I wanted to just start by saying this came about because right at the beginning, especially of this situation, that fear just was growing exponentially. And so I wanted to offer a meditation for the women in the group to be able to be aware of that that's out there, that's growing, that isn't ours, be aware of their own energy system, and to be able to cut their energetic cords with that that's out there that doesn't serve them. And to be able to find a little joy and lightness through all this, because we need that to survive. So those are just a few points I wanted to bring up before we start, because we'll be addressing all of those things in the meditation.
That's perfect. I talk a lot about with my clients how easy it is for us as humans. It's like the human aspect of us to look outside of ourselves before we look inside. Now, as children, you know, society helps us release the natural instinct to rely on our own intuition, if you know what I mean. It's really I'd say it's beaten out of us, you know, by the time we're in our 20s, I would think. It's just really easy. It's easier to give up that, I guess not, I don't know if give up control just popped into my mind. I'm not sure why I'm choosing that word right now, but it's very easy to allow ourselves to just receive all of the feedback and information and to create our lives from that point. And one of my main objectives in all of the work I do is to remind people to dive into their own truths, which I know we mirror this a lot. Ground yourself in what that is, and then lead from that. That's my definition of a soul-centered navigation for life. It's you draw in, you connect, up, down, and then you lead from that perspective. And it really is all based on intuition and understanding the difference between intuition and fear, and what is that gut feeling telling you, and what is picked up from the outside. And as you said, some fear is good. Some fear is a warning sign and a place, you know, helps you to redirect and look. But when we're just picking it up, and I'm thinking about my news feed, which is just fear, fear, more fear, more fear, more fear.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So
walk into a grocery store. You want to feel some fear? I feel like it's palpable. Like you could just, cut it right there.
Yeah. God forbid you sneeze.
I did want to make clear that I don't believe that we can or even should get rid of all fear, because it can be motivating. We have to have a little bit of fear. We have to have knowledge. I guess that's what the point I want to stress is I'm not asking us to forget our knowledge of the situation. And yeah, it is scary, and we need to protect ourselves. So that's not what we're cutting our cords from. We're cutting our cords, and I'll say it again in the meditation while you're in, but we're cutting our cords from the energy that doesn't serve us.
Yes.
Fear does not serve us when it's not used appropriately. And that larger energetic is definitely out there.
Yeah, that's great.
Doing all sorts of things to humanity while humanity is given this, you know, the granddaddy of all challenges.
Right.
Dig deep and find that innate wisdom and your soul and your purpose and your groundedness in this. So, yeah.
Yeah, very good. I love it. Would you like to get started?
I would. Let's see. I want to actually mention also that there's a lot of visualization in this. And there may be a few people out there that don't receive imagery in a visual way. Maybe you receive the knowing. So I just wanted to plant a seed that if you don't see actual images, that's okay. You're feeling it. You're walking through it. And this is a really creative right brain activity. So I want to allow you this space to just drop into that. Yeah, should we get started?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So if you can, and you're in a space to lay down, that's ideal, or you can be sitting up in a chair. Just try to have your feet on the ground and have your back straight. And go ahead and close your eyes. And just start by noticing your breath. Begin by taking a few deep breaths. They don't need to be anything strong or out of the ordinary, just noticing your breath. Settle into your comfortable position, and with each inhale, breathe in peace and ease. With each exhale, release any tensions in your body. Notice the slight pause in between your in-breath and your out-breath. Allow yourself to notice that. With your next breath cycle, focus on taking a longer, deeper breath, but still filled with ease. And on the extended and lengthened out-breath, envision the tensions stored in your physical body releasing. Check in with your shoulders and your neck and your jaw. Maybe those muscles right above your eyes. And just allow those places in your body to relax. So in this state, you're quieting down your left brain, your practical, reasonable, doing part of your brain, any thoughts of the past or the future. This left brain is that part of us that plans and remembers, and we're so thankful for this part of our brain. We've been relying on this part of ourselves during this time of COVID, and we give great gratitude to our capacity to plan and prepare and see the future and think of the past. But right now, I ask you to just allow this part of you to rest, to quiet down, allow this part of you to soften, and just be silent for now. If you can imagine yourself putting your finger on a dining room light switch that dims the light, just dim that part of you. Envision your finger pushing that little button down and just quieting your left mind. Give yourself this time to be fully in your right brain, that part of you that's sensory and imaginative, innovative, and your intuitive self. Feel the joy of being alive in this state of intuition, of breathing, of being creative, spiritual. Be the energetic, spiritual being that you are. So allow yourself to see that part of you blossom in this moment with each breath. Feel being present and relish your creation state. Now we're going to take a little journey. I'd like you to imagine in your mind's eye, imagine yourself walking along a narrow path out in nature. You're walking towards the center of a beautiful small meadow at sunset. The air is warm. The sun's last rays are beaming down upon you. You feel loved and nourished by the sun. And yet you can feel the coolness of night coming, the blades of grass underneath your bare feet, reminding you of that exquisite mixture of temperatures that only happens at this time of the day. The warmth of the sun, the coolness of the ground beneath you. As you walk into the center of the meadow, you are acutely aware of all of the life around you. Take a look. The wise trees surrounding the meadow. Take notice of the small flowers scattered around this meadow, smiling at you with their perfection. The birds singing their last songs for the day, maybe the insects scurrying about. Soak up the thousands of colors that surround you with all of your senses. Take this time to see every detail in the meadow. Standing at the center of this meadow, plant your feet solidly in the ground beneath you with intention. Remember that you have grounding cords, and in this moment, feel those grounding cords from the center of your foot go down deep into the earth. Feel them, see them, going down through the layers, through the bedrock, all the way down into the center of the earth, where you start to see a beautiful luminescent light. And you've reached the heart, the center of the earth, and you can feel the pulsing, the heartbeat of the earth. And as you wrap your cords around this light of the earth, this heart of the earth, your own heartbeat syncs up with the heartbeat of the earth. And you wind your cords around and around this light, and you can feel yourself connecting and getting stronger. Your heart's syncing up, and you feel solid and whole. And now you envision your energetic cords coming back up through the earth, through the layers up to the ground beneath you that you're standing upon in the meadow. And now that energy, that light comes back up into your body. And you shift your vision. You let go of the physical forms of all that is around you. And instead you feel the energy of everything in this grounded state. Instead of seeing the physical form of the bird above you or the trees around you, you simply feel their energy. Take this time to notice the differences in the energy of all living things in the meadow, including your own. Notice the energy of those living things that you can't even see with your eyes. Little hidden critters. Soak in this new sensory awareness. Now envision yourself in the form of energy. Release your attachment to your physical form and simply see the energy body that you are. Notice your 7 main chakras, your energy centers that inform your thoughts and beliefs about yourself and the world. Pay special attention to your auric fields, those energy fields around you. Marvel at the magnificence of your energy from the specific frequency of each energy center, each chakra, to the expansiveness of your aura. As you stand here in the meadow, you're also aware right now that there's a large thought form, a matrix of energy looming on earth. It is fear. It is both separate from us and connected to us, each person with their own unique relationship to it. I'd like you to imagine this energy in a form about 4 feet away from where you are in the meadow. What does it look like? Once you've envisioned this energy form in front of you, I'd like you to first find any bit of it that might actually serve you. The energy that serves you as a motivating force for you and humanity. The necessary part, the part of fear that heightens your awareness, that may serve as an activator for change, for the earth, to humanity, and to your personality. The part of fear that will push you to examine the changes necessary for your highest good, to let go and gain clarity. That part of fear that will help you remove barriers, change patterns, and be of service in this time. Separate this out from the whole. See it, pull it out, envision it. It's a separate color, perhaps. In whatever form it takes, put this bit of energy into a basket at your side. Actually envision yourself moving that energy, the beauty of this energetic, into a basket to your side, and you can take that with you later to utilize for yourself and the world. And now see what you're left with, a different fear. A fear that immobilizes us, a fear that paralyzes humans, that blocks our creativity, a fear that divides us. This fear is the opposite of love. It's the opposite of your true self energy and your intuition. It lowers our immune system. It wreaks havoc on our thoughts and our bodies. This fear does not serve you. It feeds on fear. It grows with fear. And it can permeate our world due to the frequency match of separateness and individualism that lives within our culture. So take a good look at that fear. What does this energy look like in front of you? I want you to see it. Take your time and allow your mind's eye to truly see this. What shape is it? What color is it? How big is this energy form of fear? Does it have a texture? What temperature does this energy have? Is it cold or hot or neutral? And if it could speak, what would this energy say to you? This energy is separate from you and will stay that way in this meditation. So I ask you again, see yourself as an energy being standing in the meadow with the current fear thought form visible to you about 4 feet in front of you. You stand firmly on the ground and envision your dominant hand glowing with the love and light and wisdom within you. You're going to use this hand to cut energetic cords that you have with this fear energy. You'll cut with your hand like a sword. During this process, you'll cut the cord from where it begins at the energy and where it attaches to each of your chakras. So at least 2 cuts. Upon severing the cord, you'll instantaneously be healing those spots, and they'll be sealed with love. And I've created a gigantic container of energy around all of us during this process. When you've severed the cord, you will see it drop to a pile, into a pile to your right. And so we begin in this meadow, your magnificent energy body, your wisdom glowing, you seeing fear in front of you, and the creation begins. This fear may be slightly altered already just by the power of your awareness of being separate from it. Continue to watch how this fear morphs during the meditation. As you begin, envision any energetic cord that exists between this thought form and your root chakra. The first chakra at the base of your spine, where you hold your thoughts and beliefs about physical survival, safety, security, your home, whatever grounds you to stability in your life, as well as emotional needs such as letting go. Right now, what does the cord or cords look like between you, that chakra, and fear? How do they appear to you? Take note of their shape and characteristics. They may be a cord, they may be a light, they may be a vine. Allow your mind's eye to see whatever comes before you. This is your body, this is your intuition speaking to you. When you see this cord from fear going to your first chakra, also notice any emotions that cord may hold. And now, taking your hand like a chopping tool, say to yourself, with the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. With the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. Cut where it attaches, and cut where it attaches to fear. The cord will drop to your right. Allow yourself to feel what this severing does to your energetic body. You're now not attached to that larger energetic of fear. Feel the ripple effects throughout your body. Now envision the cord or cords between the thought form and your second chakra, located above the pubic bone and below the navel, this energy center that governs your creativity and your sexuality, the seat of your emotions. Take the time to see the shape and characteristics of this cord and any emotions it holds. Now say to yourself, with the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. Take as long as you need. You can be waving your hands. You can be moving your hands. You can be pulling at the cord. Whatever it takes to release that cord and watch it fall to your right. Take a deep breath. Now envision any cords attached to your third chakra, the energy center that governs your thoughts and beliefs about your identity, your will, what you believe about yourself, how you believe others perceive you, your intellect, who you want to be in life, your self-esteem, your empowerment, your beliefs about who you are. All of these energies and frequencies are held in your third chakra, formed throughout your entire life. What does the cord or cords look like attached from fear to your third chakra? Now, with the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. Claim this. Say it over and over. With the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. And envision the cords falling to your right. See how cutting the cords of your first three chakras has already changed your whole energy system. Your entire chakra system is brighter already with the release of these three cords from the larger matrix of energy. Now envision any cords attached to your fourth chakra, your heart chakra, the energy center that relates to all relationships, love for others, compassion, affection, self-love, tolerance, forgiveness, giving and receiving. How has this energetic of fear that looms on our earth affected your heart and the energy of your heart chakra? What does this cord look like? And you say to yourself, with the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. See the cord fall to your right. You now have a large pile of energetic cords. Now see your throat chakra. Place your attention to that energy center at your throat chakra. This energy center expands out into the anatomical regions of your thyroid, your jaw, your neck, your mouth, and your tongue. This center holds your energy, your thoughts and beliefs about your ability to speak and communicate with others, general communication, thoughts about communication, and your inner voice. What does the cord or cords look like from this energy center that allows you to authentically express yourself and the looming fear? Take time. Notice the cording. And now I cut this cord and I am free. With the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. See the cord fall to your right. And now focus your attention on your third eye, that chakra, that energy center between your brows, the house of your intuition and your knowing, your internal wisdom. How has this low vibration energy challenged your intuition, your innate wisdom? You see the diminished energy form of fear in front of you. What does the cord look like between your third eye and this thought form? With the power of love within me, I cut this cord and I am free. You see the final cord falling into the pile of energetic cords to your right. With the severing of these cords, your vibrancy and radiance and strength has increased. Feel it. Take a good look at what's left of the energy of fear in front of you. It's gotten smaller and you've become more radiant, more light. Take this time to blow at that energy with all of your might, blowing that thought form out of the meadow and in the direction of the ocean, wherever you are, blow it in that direction and imagine the remnants dropping into the center of the ocean to be transformed by the power of water. And you, standing in this meadow, you are changed. The colors of your energy centers are continuing to shift and change. Your chakras glowing brighter. You see your whole energy body now lighter and more radiant. And you feel free from this energy. Take a deep breath and feel the change. In this new state, envision yourself picking up the pile of cords to your right and taking them to a small stream at the edge of the meadow, close to where you're standing. As you stand watching the flow of the water, you're reminded of the flow of life, the movement of all energy. We are constantly transforming. The earth is constantly transforming. The changes you have made to your energy body are transforming you. And you toss the cords into the stream and watch them float away, eventually flowing into the same powerful ocean. You walk back to the meadow in the last light of the day, and you take this time to dance. Fill your body with joy and dance. Dance like a child in this meadow, free of the heaviness of fear. Move your body, feel your body flowing with ease in movement and alignment with the soft breezes in the air and the life force energy of Mother Earth and of yourself. Dance. Let go. In this state of levity, pause. Take a breath and feel your body. Stand still and appreciate the changes you've created. And now I ask you to lay down on this ground in this meadow. See yourself, feel yourself laying down. Stretch out your entire body, belly to the earth. Let every inch of your body connect with Mother Earth. And place your cheek to the ground, cheek to cheek. Acknowledge this moment that you and Mother Earth are both resting and rejuvenating right now. Take this time to whisper sweet messages of love to her and to yourself. And now say thank you. Say thank you to you for taking this time. Say thank you to Mother Earth. envision yourself standing up in the meadow, taking a long last look at the beauty that surrounds you and feeling the power within you, the power for dynamic change, the power of the light within you. Feel your new light and your new joy. And when you're ready, come back to this body and open your eyes. Hello.
That was so great. I'm going to turn my light back on. That was really great. Very lovely. I loved it. I'm still in that very relaxed space, so probably have to edit a minute out where I'm like,
well, that's okay. That's
floating.
Exactly where you should be.
Yeah, I loved that visual. I have, I'm always fascinated to think about how it shows up for me. Well, when I'm in a meditation, when I talk to clients, I say, I'm going to direct you and I'm going to speak the visual, but whatever comes up for you is where you should lean into, right? And as you were talking about, I just rolled right into my experience.
And everybody should share their experiences. Yes.
I know. I would love to hear what people's experiences were. As you were going through the chakras, each one for me, the chords were different, but how they attached were very different too.
Yes.
So the root chakra very directly connected, and it's this fear for me shows up. I know over my left body, right, my physical body, and it's a specific imagery that I know is definitely relevant to me right now. Yeah. And so the root chakra was a very clear cutting of that and a very like a settled feeling. Mm-hmm. But when I moved up to my third chakra, mm-hmm. solar chakra, it was wrapped around me. It was outside of me. So the root chakra connected into the cord, the sacral chakra connected in, and then I wanted to sever maybe a few of the cords.
Right.
The solar was this band, this external band around me, mm-hmm. that then connected in front of me and went out. And it was very clear to me in the moment that this fear that I'm dealing with right now, this particular thing that's coming up for me, mm-hmm. was not my own.
Yes. And
it's this wrapping of, and this like, it was like not a mirage, but this, it's one of those, I don't know how to explain it, an attempt to make it feel my own, but releasing that was less of releasing from me and more of going to my back of my body and cutting the belt off.
Yes, absolutely. Jeanine, you bring up so many great points, and I don't like to mention them before we start because it's so personal. Everyone is so different. Some people may have huge, massive cable cords in one chakra and a tiny little thread in another. And I never want to take away everyone's personal experiences, but you're exactly right. They show up as vines. They show up as outside of yourself. And what I want to relay to all the listeners is that is your energy body speaking to you. Mm. We don't have the language, at least in our culture, to understand energy. So we have to put it in this, we have to receive images and knowings and feelings of energy in whatever way makes sense to us. And so we often work in visuals.
Yeah.
And so that's your body giving you a message, and you so clearly read it. So I encourage everyone who has just gone through this meditation to take a few notes. How did the cords appear to you? What does that mean? What did that feel like for you? What did it bring up? And you can revisit this, listen to it over and over again. I mean, the reality is that we cord constantly. We cord with the grocery clerk. We cord with conversation. We cord with our loved ones. We cord with fear. We cord with larger energetics because we are energy beings. Mm.
Yeah, and belief systems, right? And how that all intertwines.
Yeah, so that's beautiful. I love that you got that knowing, and sit with that knowing, what does that mean? And now what do you feel like now that you know it and you've cut that fear, or rather that cord?
Well, I mean, to state the obvious, less fearful, but not just because we cut the fear, but because I've acknowledged that wasn't even mine to hold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What I'd love to remind people who are listening and doing this, and a lot of people who are, I think, new to this sort of exercise, tend to want to, I know I was like this for sure, want to understand the ABCs, like want to understand, is this the way it's supposed to be? Is this? And so I love how you pointed out that it really is your own experience. So this is where we ask people to take a leap of faith with themselves, to trust that the images that popped up for them, they may not have even, like there was a point where I wasn't putting mine in the water, I was lighting them on fire.
Yeah, baby.
And I couldn't release it I needed to burn. And that's okay. That was how I tell people, like, we direct them and then they go. Yes. So to trust yourself is
trust yourself and allow yourself. One of the other things that comes up is people will say, am I imagining this? Is this true? Yeah. And I always tell them, I've sat in a lot of circles where people have different, experiences with this sort of work or journeying. And one thing that stood out for me a long time ago was a teacher said to me, well, so what? What if it is your imagination? Step into your imagination and go with it. And once you allow yourself to stop thinking, am I making this up? And allow yourself to step in, that's when your experience just lightens up. It becomes expansive. It becomes what you are and what you're capable of. But many people might have to give themselves that permission to start out with imagination. And that's why we say, in your mind's eye, create this. And then you step into that mode of creativity. But that is your creativity. And all that you're doing and seeing is you. It is your energy.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yes, that's so true. So this idea that I think the human part of us that needs to say, this is fact or this is made up imagination. And the idea of saying to someone, who cares what it is, experience it, is the moment where we pinch off that connection with the
left brain.
Yeah, I was going to say like the left brain and allow ourselves to experience. Yeah. Like I always remind people, you come into my office, leave your logical mind outside. We're going to talk colors, shapes, and, swirly smoke things. And people are like, but it gives them permission to shift that perspective. Right. So I love that. I get asked a lot, like, hey, was that a sign? I think I got a sign from my guides. Was that a sign? And every time I say, if you think it was a sign, it was a sign. It doesn't matter. I think that sign is where you direct your focus and attention. And when you become the experiential side versus trying to define it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's wonderful.
So in these times of fearing everything, we're fearing germs, we're fearing other people's breath while we're taking a walk in a park. There's this constant awareness. Hopefully all of this discussion and this meditation can bring people back around to the power within them, the grounding that they have on earth, and also the connection, because I think we as individuals, we as the larger collective of humanity and our earth are all going through something very similar. And so when we can make those connections too, it helps us come out of our tight, small fear, and allows us to see the whole situation in a different light. And so I hope that dancing in the meadow is something that you can take with you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. I really love that combination of trusting the intuition and then also using the rational mind too, because there really is a balance between the two.
Every day, every moment, I feel like within every 60 seconds, there's a little bit of flow of each these days. And then again, that's great. That's because we're human. We're some of the, what other animal gets to do all this? Like, we can be burdened by it, or we can say, wow, I can do this. You know, one thing I tell my clients often is they'll come in and say, well, gosh, I've, created this idea and this mind with my mind and my thoughts and blah, blah, blah. And I say, okay, now take that. Imagine how much you've, really messed yourself up, because we know all that psychology that field has told us how well we do that. But like, take that and put it in the positive. Like, if you can mess yourself up so badly, you can heal yourself too.
Yeah.
So take that creative energy, take your energy body, notice yourself, and create what you want in this time of not feeling like we have a lot of certainty or power. Just remember that you have that power.
Yeah.
That ability.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining today and that visualization. And I always love talking with you. I can see we're going to end up having to do more of these. But I wanted to ask before we wound up, what are you working on now, and how can people reach out to you, especially in these strange times?
Yeah, I'm seeing clients, just a few clients every week, and I'll do remote sessions. So if you'd love to contact me or talk to me about anything that we did today, I'm happy to do that. I love talking energy. You can contact me at my website, almusreiki.com. Maybe Jeanine can put that in the down below. It's ALMUS Reiki.com. And right now I'm actually working on something a little bit different. I'm working with plant medicine through essential oils. So my passion right now is to teach essential oil users how to create spiritual and energetic relationships with the plants. And so it's really asking people to be still and connect in, just like we did today with the individual plant essences. So I'm working on an online course and seeing clients. And
wonderful.
Also living with my 2 young adults and my husband who's working from home and managing like everyone else.
Right. Wonderful. Well, thank you. I'll definitely put a link below or in the comments, however it works. But
okay, sounds great.
Thank you, Jude. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.